Welcome to Southwest Desert, where adventure meets the arid beauty of the American Southwest. Join us as we explore the rugged landscapes, uncover hidden historical gems, and dive deep into the rich legends and culture of this iconic region. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on our latest desert adventures. Please leave a like or comment. This is very helpful. Let's journey together into the heart of the Southwest Desert. Picture this. It's 1896, and Charles Eichelberger is stumbling through the blazing Arizona desert, his water supply dangerously low, death potentially just hours away. The southwestern edge of what would later become the Kofa Mountains stretched endlessly before him, a harsh landscape that had already claimed countless prospectors. But Charlie wasn't ready to give up. Driven by desperation, he spotted a canyon ahead. Maybe there would be a natural water tank hidden in those rocky walls. What happened next would transform this desolate patch of Arizona desert into one of the most profitable gold mining operations in the territory's history, spawning a bustling town that would thrive for over a decade before vanishing almost as quickly as it appeared. This is the incredible true story of Kofa, a gold rush boomtown born from desperation, built on dreams and ultimately abandoned to the desert winds. Charles Eichelberger had no idea that his desperate search for water would lead to one of Arizona's greatest gold discoveries. As he climbed that canyon wall in 1896, every step was a struggle against exhaustion and dehydration. When he finally spotted a natural water tank carved into the canyon wall, relief flooded through him. He filled his canteen and collapsed nearby to rest. But fate had something extraordinary in store. As he sat there, scanning the canyon walls, something caught his eye. About 20 feet away, an object gleamed in the harsh desert sunlight. Something compelled him to investigate. Those 20 footsteps changed everything. What Charlie discovered was a gold outcropping so rich that it would soon become the legendary king of Arizona mine. The very spot where he had nearly died of thirst was sitting atop a fortune. Charlie quickly partnered with H.B. Gleason and Ypez Randolph, experienced men who could provide the capital and expertise needed. Together, they formed the King of Arizona Mining Company, and by June 1897, less than a year after Charlie's desperate water search, they had constructed a 5-stamp amalgamation mill near Mohawk on the Gila River, 35 miles south of the mine. But having a mill and having a town were completely different things. The miners who arrived at the King of Arizona in summer 1897 discovered they had essentially signed up to live in hell. The mine was too new to offer even basic accommodations. There were no buildings, no tents, no shelter of any kind. The miners slept outside under the stars, if they were lucky. Some found natural caves in the canyon walls, but most simply lay down on the hard desert ground each night, hoping desert predators would keep their distance. The graveyard shift workers truly suffered. Imagine finishing an exhausting night of dangerous underground mining work just as the Arizona sun began to rise. These men faced the impossible task of trying to sleep during the day with absolutely no protection from blazing desert heat. Temperatures often soared above 110 degrees, turning their sleeping areas into furnaces. Even worse was the water crisis. The nearest reliable water source was back at Mohawk, 35 miles away. Every 2 days, mule teams made the grueling journey across the desert, hauling water in whatever containers they could find. And what containers they found were absolutely revolting. The water arrived sloshing around in old wine barrels and used whiskey containers, picking up a taste so vile that many miners became physically ill just from drinking it. But this contaminated, foul-tasting liquid represented their only source of drinking water. Yet they had no choice. Drink the tainted water or die of thirst. Despite these horrific conditions, something remarkable happened. The king of Arizona mine was simply too rich to abandon. The gold deposits were so valuable that the mining company decided to invest heavily in transforming this hellish camp into a proper town. By the turn of the century, the desolate mining camp had evolved into a thriving community that miners proudly called home. The town took its name from the mine itself, Kofa, an abbreviation of King of Arizona. This wasn't just ramshackle buildings thrown together by desperate men. Kofa became a genuine town with all the amenities a frontier community could want. A substantial boarding house provided hot meals and clean beds. A company bunkhouse offered decent sleeping quarters. The company store stocked everything from mining equipment to household goods, while multiple saloons provided entertainment where miners could unwind after dangerous underground shifts. Most remarkably, Kofa even built a school. This wasn't just a mining camp anymore. It had become a place where families wanted to settle permanently. Men brought their wives and children to make Kofa their home, confident this desert community had a lasting future. The transformation required solving the persistent water problem. The mining company launched several expensive deep drilling projects, boring into the desert floor searching for an underground water source. Attempt after attempt failed, each costing precious capital. But persistence paid off. About 5 miles south of the King Mine, drilling crews struck a reliable water supply. This discovery was revolutionary for Kofa's development. With dependable water available, the company justified massive infrastructure investments directly at the mine site. They constructed a state-of-the-art 100-ton mill equipped with a sophisticated cyanide plant for advanced ore processing. No longer would they transport raw ore 35 miles to Mohawk. They could handle everything on site. The operation proved so successful, they later expanded the mill to an impressive 250-ton capacity, employing 125 workers directly on the King of Arizona property. This wasn't just a mining operation anymore. It was an industrial complex rivaling anything in the Arizona territory. What made Kofa particularly fascinating was its incredibly diverse workforce. 3 distinct ethnic communities formed the backbone of the town's economy, each specializing in different aspects of the mining operation. The Cornish men, affectionately known as Cousin Jacks, handled dangerous underground mining work. These men brought generations of mining expertise from Cornwall's tin mines, making them invaluable for extracting gold from challenging ore deposits. Mexican workers dominated woodcutting operations, harvesting timber from surrounding desert and mountains to fuel the steam-powered mill equipment. This was back-breaking work in desert heat, but provided essential energy for the entire operation. Chinese workers managed all cooking operations for the entire community. In an era when anti-Chinese sentiment ran high across the American West, Kofa's Chinese residents found stable employment feeding the diverse workforce that kept the mines running around the clock. This ethnic division of labor created a surprisingly functional community where different cultures worked together toward the common goal of extracting wealth from the desert. Despite its remote location and diverse population, Kofa maintained relatively good order. Serious crime remained the exception rather than the rule. When criminal activity occurred, however, it could be dramatic and violent. Joaquin Nogales learned this lesson when he attempted to burn down several buildings in Kofa. His arson attempt was taken extremely seriously by territorial authorities, who sentenced him to 6 years in prison. The harsh sentence sent a clear message that Kofa wouldn't tolerate threats to its hard-won stability. Even more shocking was the violent assault committed by a woman known as Pinky Dean. This intoxicated woman attacked a local miner with a knife in her apartment behind one of the town's saloons, slashing him severely in what witnesses described as a particularly vicious assault. The incident highlighted the rough nature of saloon district life, where alcohol and isolation could explode into serious violence. For over a decade, the king of Arizona mine and the town of Kofa seemed unstoppable. The operation provided steady employment for 125 workers, supported dozens of families, and generated enormous profits. Gold flowed from the desert mountains like a golden river, transforming this remote corner of Arizona into one of the territory's most prosperous communities. But even the richest mines eventually face the same inevitable fate: the gold runs out. By 1910, after 13 years of intensive mining operations, the king of Arizona mine was showing signs of serious depletion. The high-grade ore deposits that had made the operation so profitable were becoming increasingly difficult to find. Mine engineers examined the remaining tailings, waste rock left over from previous processing, but determined that reworking this material would cost more than any gold it might yield. Within months, the bustling town that had risen from Charles Eichelberger's desperate search for water had returned to the desert silence from which it came. The post office, which had served the community since June 5, 1900, finally closed on August 27, 1928, 18 years after the mine's closure, marking the official end of Kofa's existence. Join my Patreon community and discover my art print products on my website in the links provided in my description and link above. Also, if you would like a particular image from my videos, give the timestamp for image, and I will upload it to my website and Patreon. Thank you for joining your desert frontiersman Alan for another Southwest Gold story. Check out my large catalog of Southwest videos and playlists on historical tales, legends, lost gold stories, and adult bedtime stories. If you like a certain image from my videos, tell me in comments and give timestamp. Happy trails! Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more great content. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.